All right, we're right back with On the Spot correspondent team. Our next issue is after Obama gets in, what next? Our people is hyped up. Our people is ready. They're on the streets. They're blowing their horns. People of all colors. But what I had to say when I went to work was, what is our strategy? Because at the end of it, every other ethnic group go in there and they speak on the Jewish community. They have a policy. What is our strategy? Me personally, I'm gonna say, I think we got to get some. This is the time for us to get in tune with Africa. I've been to Africa a year and a half ago, and I saw so much positive things that we could capitalize on that we didn't capitalize on when Mandela came out of prison.
Well, I think to speak to that point, one of the great things about Barack Obama in general is not only is he a descendant of Africa, but he's a world traveler. He lived in Indonesia, growing up, or Malaysia, somewhere in Indonesia. And well, he was 6, but it provides a cultural sensitivity that no other president that we've had has ever had. In other words, when you have an Indonesian stepfather, when you have brothers who are African, as well as a sister who's half white and half Indonesian, white grandparents from El Dorado, Kansas, it gives you a scope about human nature and humanity that other presidents have not had. They were speaking strictly from the perspective of white male privilege. Now, the other thing is this, and this is something that you can't forget. Obama is the president of the United States of America. And I think one of the things that we would really do ourselves a disservice in doing is believing that he is the president of Black America. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe that Obama will bring a sensitivity to urban issues. Daley in Chicago was making a lot of the point that this is the first time since Jack Kennedy that we've had a president from an urban area. So obviously the mayors and people in the urban setting are going to be pulling on him, saying, you got to address the issue of urban America. Africa and the world, the developing world, is celebrating. They're going to be looking for him to bring a certain sensitivity to foreign policy, and I think he'll do that. But we as African American people, as you said, we have to put forth an agenda with the rest of the other special interest groups in America. And one of the great things that Jeremiah Wright said, even when he was still Obama's pastor, he said, look, the day after you sworn in, I'm coming after you. And he said that tongue in cheek. And what he meant was that there is going to be a level in which we will have to bring pressure and lobby President Obama the way we do all presidents.
But what is our strategy?
It may take us to the streets. It obviously will take us to. We'll do the same things with Obama in the White House that we did when Carter was in the White House, or when Clinton.
The Jewish communities.
But I think, and that's the point I was going to get back to, because I've heard that discussion about Obama is president of the United States and not president of Black America. I don't think there's a dichotomy. Okay. I think that the issues of Black America are general and particular. And I think that and when we go to them, that the strategy has to be on those issues that are of primary concern to Black people, because we go to him as Black people. We go to him laying out the particularity of our conditions, and we can never talk about post-racialism or racism. But what we can talk to him about is national health care.
Right.
What we can talk to him about is a single party payer. What we can talk to President Obama about is the reindustrialization of the cities, that the infrastructure, that the green revolution has to be first and foremost our concern. And that's what we take to President Obama. And I agree that as we take that to him, the Congress, if you talk to 10, the city of New York where we are, if we talk to 09, that we've got to take advantage of our people. We are now able to talk to young people about presidential elections, about the mayor, about term limits. You see, because the Obama energized that. Yes, created the hope, created the idea that we can do this.
But I think the next step 2 is working. Okay.
What's step 2?
It's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We got to get to work.
Okay.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just look at the totality of what Barack Obama is saying, am I my brother's keeper? And from the bottom up approach. Again, I can't say that enough. We have to put some ideas to work. When was the last time that we went by our local schools and spent some time within local schools, even though we're not teachers, just talking to our children and exposing them to different professions? When's the last time we went around, as we're doing now? We have a public housing economic empowerment tour going, and if we think that resources are not being disseminated to public housing communities or in the communities in your own area, we don't have to wait for Barack Obama to come to our public housing community. We can do those things for our neighborhoods ourselves. We can go and donate funds to our libraries and make sure we have adequate books and try to raise money for our. We can do these things ourselves. We can make sure that we're learning about all the things that happen with every recession of the last 10 years could have been avoided with this education. With this education, making sure in 2000 we understood the importance of researching how to buy the right stock at the right time. Otherwise, the internet bubble wouldn't have took all your pension away. If we'd have researched how to buy homes and avoid predatory lending, then we wouldn't have signed that 50-page document, which for most people in America is the biggest investment of their lifetime. We wouldn't have signed that document away.
But predatory lending is something our politicians have spoken on for the past 10, 12 years. We've been hearing predatory lending.
But do they
What legislation why?
Well, first of all, Barack Obama, he tried to introduce legislation against predatory
But let's
lending.
talk. Okay, if we deal with it on a local issue.
But
We attempted on a local issue. The city council introduced and passed a bill on predatory lending. Bloomberg vetoed it. They overrode his veto. He went to the courts, and the courts reinstituted it. So that when you talk from the bottom up, I think we make assumptions that the bottom isn't doing some of the kind of things that you're saying. What the problem is that it does not get the cameras. It doesn't get the sensation of it. And what Obama's election might bring to those things that are happening, is the cameras. Is so that we step back from saying what we aren't doing to focusing on what we are doing.
Well, I'll say this, and I definitely will agree with that wholeheartedly, but I will say this above and beyond legislation, okay? Because legislation is not the end-all, fix-all of our economic problems in this society. We have to, as a people, and hopefully what we can do is Barack Obama, and there are a lot of people doing the right things, and I would assume that if those people hadn't done those right things in the community, we'd have a whole lot more predatory lending cases going on. But we have to do more. We're never in a position in this country from now to the end of days until we can't allow ourselves to do more. And making
absolutely.
sure we're reaching out to the next person beside us and says, look, let's do more workshops, let's do more training.